Hello, good morning, everyone. It's me, Ramesh Thakur. So today I'm just gonna talk of Two Little Soldiers by Gaiji. Okay. Uh, so let's move forward. Yes. So let's talk of first of all, yeah, who Gay is. Yes. So he was born on 5th August 1850 and died on 6th July 1893. And he was a 19th century French author, writer, and he has been remembered as a master of the short story form and considered a father of the modern short story. And his stories are mostly known by the economy of style and efficiency. Okay, so let's move forward. So we will talk of first of all, Two Little Soldiers. What types of story is this? Yes, yeah, and this story is actually a literary tragedy. Literary tragedy, and what happens in a literary tragedy is mostly a protagonist is typically brought to ruin because of some character flaw, which is usually some common human flaw. So, what happens? Any character comes to the downfall, or any characters mostly um, they get ruined. Yes, because of some other character's flaw, and those flaws are the result of the human nature. Or let's say, as we are born as human beings, we have some flaws. We have some, we have some faults. So because of such faults like greed or misplaced loyalty, mostly they create a kinds of evil situations. Yes, and because of that, what happens, any character in the story mostly becomes victim of that. So this is a literary tragedy, and in this story also, because of the human flaw, yes, a character has to suicide. He suicides. Yes, that we'll see in this story. And this story is also a type of triangular love story. Yeah, very different types of love story, a bizarre, weird love story. And this love story also relates with the rural area, and we can have some significances of traditional love triangle in this story. So we can also call it a traditional love triangle story. And this is romantic also, quite romantic. Okay, romantic possibilities over a close friendship. So what happens when two people have close relationship, close friendship? Yes, and what's the what's the role of the love or romance over friendship, close relationship? That's shown in this story. So the setting of the story, you can see from the pictures also, it's quite clear. Yes, there are two people, then one girl. Yes, and we can simply predict this is about the triangle love story, and one rural setting is given there on the top. Okay, and military camp also. I've shown here military camp. So this story may have the setting of rural area also, similarly military camp also. Okay, so let's talk of the setting first. The French peaceful countryside, gifted with beautiful nature, yeah, and forest area, the pastoral surroundings with serenity. So this is the setting of this story, yeah, and the army barracks also in the town of Courvoy on the outskirt of Paris. So this story relates with the outskirt of the urban area, and most of the parts of this story take place in rural setting. So this is the setting. Okay, then let's talk of the characters. Yes, as you see in the story, there are mainly three characters. Yes, the two soldiers or two armies or recruits, and one maid. Okay, let's see. There are first of all the soldiers, one Jean Catherine and Luke Lee, genitive. Okay, so Locke was simply say Locke and Jean. Locke and Jean. So they are recruits or young French soldiers. Yes, And by their nature is that they mostly hesitate opening up their emotions or mental states. Yeah, they share most of the things, but there are certain, certain situations or certain matters which they don't, express to each other. Okay, so they have such kinds of emotions or mental states. And actually when you see that they are quite introvert, whatever they they like, they don't love to express openly to others. Yes, so they are very quiet, they're close friends, and they have identical thought processes and mindsets, so they are similar in many different ways. So both love the same dairy maid, though one one that is love expresses his love. Yeah, but Jin, he doesn't express his love, and so they both of them love the same maid or girl. Okay, so on one side there is their friendship, and another side there's the love. So luck later becomes dynamic from calm, serene, and emotionless self. So at first, see, Luke was also, calm, okay, serene, and he was quite, emotionless at first. But later on, when we see, as the story moves forward, we can easily find that Luke, okay, he becomes quite dynamic, okay. And later on, at last, what happens, because of some situations, because of his nature, or because of this because of his mental stage, or what he thinks about his friend, yes, because of that, yeah, Jin suicides at last. So these are, first of all, two main characters. These are two um, protagonists. Okay, protagonist. And the next character is the dairy maid. Yes, she's tall, strapping girl, freckled and tanned by the open air, and she lives in rural area. Yes, and a girl typical of the Parisian suburbs. Okay, so these are the main three characters, and let's have a look on the plot. Every Sunday, as soon as they were free, means Jin and Zulok. These two are the recruits, and mostly every Sunday they get free time, holiday. So every Sunday, what they do when they are free, they love visiting rural areas. Okay, the two little soldiers habitually go for a walk away from barracks in the countryside every Sunday. Then they bring food to the same place in the woods and lie back to enjoy the food, wine, and sights of an area that reminds them of home. So when they go there, mostly staying in barracks may have bored them. Yes, and when they come to visit to the countryside, and they see the beautiful nature, yeah, and on the way they buy food items or wines, they go and sit at the same place every Sunday at the same place. And when they go there, when they see the beautiful nature, they mostly remember their homes. It means their homesickness. Yes, they have homesickness, so they remember their home. Okay, so they were small and thin, lost in their ill-fitting capes. Two, this would be caps, I think, ill-fitting caps. Okay, too large and too long. Yeah, those sleeves covered their hands. Their ample red trousers fell in folds around their ankles. So this describes their outfits. Yes. Okay. They never spoke during their journey. And while going to the countryside or on the way, they don't speak to each other, as and they just go straight. The same idea in each mind taking the place of conversation. Yeah, and then what happens? They go to the entrance of a little forest. Yeah, Sampiox. They had found a spot which reminded them of the homesickness I told you earlier. And when they arrived under the trees, yes, they would take off their heavy oppressive headgear and wipe their foreheads, and they sit there, okay, and whatever they have with them, they eat there, they take rest there, they talk there, okay. And as soon as they had crossed the Shini, they would purchase provisions at the delicacies in a small shop, and the bakers and the wine merchants also. Yeah. So these are the stuff they would love to have. Yes, when they sit over there at a place. Then what happens? Kenny Drake and Catherine, they were contented also. They were happy first battle because they always come to visit the same places, okay, same areas, same place, and so they enjoy the beautiful nature of the countryside. And they are sad also to some extent because when they see the areas, yes, they remember their house. And at first in the barracks they mostly think that they are captivized. Yes, they are trapped over there, and when they come to the countryside, they feel themselves quite free. So, contented and sad, haunted by a sweet sorrow, the slow and penetrating sorrow of captive animal, which remembers the days of its freedom. Yes. So, after having their meal, they would glance to see the dairy maid. Actually, when they sit over there, they have their milk, then they mostly see a dairy maid. Yes, dairy maid pass through that way. Just they see seems to go to the cow. Yes, which is only cow over there. Yes, and she milks the cow. She comes back. So this time also they are waiting for that maid who would pass in front of them on the way to milk a cow, the only cow in the neighborhood which was sent out to the pasture. She, then while returning, this time she talks to the soldiers also, and she offers them, the milk, some milk, and they had the wine, bottle of wine, and with she poured the milk into the bottle of wine, and they had. So this is the first step or first stage when they talk each other. Then after they return, actually their talk, they mostly talk at the barracks about the same girl. And the next Sunday, they again go there. And before going there, they plan to have any gift for the dairy maid. Okay, so they buy red, white candies for the maid. Yes, paying 2 sources. This is the local coin. Okay, coin worth 2 sources. Coin worth. Okay, they buy candies for the maid. They thought of her all through the week and often spoke of her. And the following Sunday, when they go there, and she sits beside them for a long time, and then all of them they talk. They are to add whatever stuff they have with them. Then in this way the time passes. What happens, both of them keep talking about the girl at the barracks also. But what happens, an unusual happening takes place. Actually they mostly take leave on Sunday only, but candidate, when he actually takes leave on Tuesday also and Friday also. Yes, but Jean doesn't know about that. So Jean is worried why he is taking leave for 2 more days, and which is actually unusual event, unusual happening. Yes, so Jean is quite worried about that. Jean on Sunday, yes, what happens the coming Sunday? They again go to the countryside and meet the dairy maid. But Jean becomes quite surprised. Yes, seeing the situation at the time, because he found his friend quite queer, disturbed, and changed. His behavior, it means Locke's behavior was not as usual, not normal. Yes, his behavior was quite different. So the girl appears, yes, and she comes and kisses Locke passionately. Yes, and she embraces him, throwing her arms around his neck. And but what are the situation was that she doesn't pay any attention to Jin, though Jin was also there previously. Yeah, in on the previous Sundays, she used to pay equal attentions to both, but this time she is not taking care of the presence of Jin. without even noticing that he was there. So Jean was dazed, yes, upset, and left heartbroken. He felt pain and sting treachery and deceit live in their wake. So he felt quite pain. He was quite surprised, and this is the point. He knew that the reason of the absence or leave of his friend. Then Jean saw them disappear side by side, milk the cow, leave the pail in the grass, and disappear in the woods. He stayed there, motionless, bewildered, and grieving simple, passionate grief. So he was grieved. Yes, he felt pain in his heart, and he wanted to weep. Yes, he wanted to run away. He wanted to hide somewhere and never to see her anywhere again. Yes, so this was the situation, and the emotion. See, he was quite introvert. He couldn't say anything also at the time. Yes, but here see the behavior of his friend and the girl. Yes, this was quite strange, and this was being intolerable to him. Yes, it was quite painful for him. He didn't know what to say, what not to say. Yes, he just kept watching his friend and the dairy made activities. Okay, and this time, see, the girl didn't offer any milk to him. So while returning back, they stop on the breeze as they do, every Sunday. Every Sunday they used to stop at the breeze. Yes, and this Sunday also they stop at the breeze and there was the water flowing by. And Jean, what happens? He leaned over the railing, farther and farther, as though something in the stream hypnotized him and felt like a sword and disappeared in the water. And he fell. Jin fell into the water and he disappeared into the water. This means he suicided. He jumped into the water, thinking of the situation he faced and thinking of the treachery or betrayal of his friend. Yes, but he didn't say anything to his friend about that. Luke, paralyzed with fear, horror, and fear, tried vainly to shout for help. He saw his friend, yeah, being drowned, but he shouted for help, but nobody came to help him because maybe there was no one. But all in vain. He saw his friend drown, his friend died. But he was quite surprised. He was quite sad. He was grieved. He was mourned. Yes, and then he returned to barracks, and he ran back to the barracks, crazed and with eyes and voice full of tears. He related the accident to everyone there, what happened over there. So this is the story, yeah, of two little soldiers. So let's talk of the theme. Yeah, as we discussed in the story too. Yeah, at one side there is friendship, yeah, close friendship, and other side there is love. So this is the conflict between friendship and love. So yeah, you can see the picture: boyfriend, girlfriend, and best friend. And the best friend is when girlfriend and boyfriend they come closer. Yeah, so the boyfriend or best friend, yeah, is just about to be you know head chopped. Okay, about to be head chopped. So this is the situation. Yeah, okay, so from this one what we can say is this also shows the friendship and love, these two are not compatible. Yes, so when you see the friendship of two recruits, two soldiers, and then one of the soldiers love with the dairy maid. Okay, so this has been shown incompatibility of friendship and a romantic love. The bond of friendship shouldn't be violated for a romantic love. Rather, friendship and love should survive. So there should be openness. There should be, transparency in love. See, Jean didn't say anything about that. Even Luke also, he hid something why he was taking leave. He didn't tell his friend, Jean, anything about his leave. Yeah. And similarly, Jean also suspected, or Jean also was worried about that. And Jean felt betrayal, so he suicided. Okay, so both of these stories suggest that not only friendship, but romance or love also should continue together. Okay, there should be transparency, but lack of transparency is given in this story. Treachery and betrayal in affinity and amity may lead to destruction or the end of life or ultimate downfall, as Jin, as given with Jin. Okay, so a person and his best friend cannot love the same person. So this story suggests that if two friends are best, yes, when both of them love the same, this is not possible. Yeah, possibility is not given here. Okay, so this is that one friend has to leave, and then another can only continue. So a person and his best friend cannot love the same person. This means that, and this relates with um heterosexuality also. Heterosexual should be there. Okay, two boys and one girl, or two girls and one boy. Okay, so these are the themes, yeah, related to the story. Now let's see the plot diagram. Yes, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. First of all, exposition. The two little soldiers venture out in the countryside every Sunday, and they meet the dairy milk. So it starts like the story starts like this. So rising action, Luke takes leave unusually on Tuesday and Friday, and again he takes leave with sorry, that's the holiday. Yes, so he goes with his friend in the countryside together. Okay, Jean observes the romance of Luke and the girl, and the climax, Jean leans against the rail, leans forward more and more, a father and father. His body falls into the rushing water, and Luke vainly calls for help, but nobody is there to help him out. So he's just see, yes, his friend drowning. Then falling action, Luke explains the accident, yes, to the people in the barracks, and what happened to him, and the resolutions, what happens, emotion shocked Luke so that he could say no more. He was explaining, but he was quite terrified. He was quite distressed, grieved because of the death of his friend. So he couldn't speak further. He couldn't talk further, and he just stopped over there. So yes, so these are the plot diagrams or different events in the story. So I have consulted these resources. Okay, so I hope that this